Good evening and welcome to the very first Boca Raton HubSpot user group meeting. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. I know there's been a lot going on the last couple of days. There's this holiday where everyone's eating a lot of turkey. Somewhere around there, I heard for the only time in the next 79,000 years, Hanukkah fell somewhere in the middle with Thanksgiving, but I'm glad that we have everyone out here for tonight. This has been a long time planning, and we're looking forward to getting to help each and every one of you get more out of content marketing and inbound marketing so you can grow your business and organization by finding those who need your help the most. The main topic of what we're going to be talking about tonight is to give you 14 strategies that you can use to jumpstart how you plan your inbound marketing campaigns for 2014. Everyone in the back hear me okay? Yep. Great. Jen, we got the video. But as you saw before, HubSpot, I don't know how many of you know HubSpot, but they have a very well-deserved reputation for lots of cool, interesting, viral kind of videos. And that video that you saw up there before was actually recorded 3 or 4 years ago. It's a parody and spoof of the Alanis Morissette song, You Ought to Know, and it's called You Ought to Know Inbound Marketing. So if you didn't actually get a chance to see it in its entirety sometime the next day or two when you get home and jump on YouTube, it's pretty cute. But I know a lot of people that are here tonight are coming from many different places in terms of how you use marketing and content and how you create awareness in the marketplace. And to kind of set the tone for what we're going to talk about tonight, I want to introduce you to Outbound Anonymous. And with any luck, the sound will play.
So I got in a little trouble during my last leadership campaign. This woman kind of took offense to my tactics and went all Charles Bronson on me on the street.
Can you hear that in the back?
It really made me evaluate the way I was doing things. So I met up with a good group of people who were going through the same problems I am and trying to go inbound. Hi, I'm Dan. And I'm an outbound marketer.
My pay-per-click habits broke my budget.
I made a huge mistake and I hired Gary Busey for an infomercial. When I finally hit rock bottom, I was buying 10,000 email addresses at a time.
I rented a giant inflatable gorilla to try and boost street traffic, and the wind blew it into a nearby playground. There were children screaming and panicking. It was awful.
You know, I realize the internet isn't just a place for people with no friends to talk about dumb bands nobody cares about. I'm trying to increase my visibility on search engines, and I've hit a few bumps in the road. But I'm starting to get the hang of things, and with what I've learned over the past few days, I really think I'm going to do all right.
So that was Dan Sally, who's a rep at HubSpot, and I would say he's actually kind of a ringer because if you look him up, he had a career at Comedy Central long before he landed at HubSpot. There's actually a lot of really interesting people that have landed at HubSpot over the years. There's an Olympic gold medalist figure skater. There's a lot of people with musical talent that have ended up over there. A pretty interesting company, and it's probably no accident that they've grown from 2006 to present to 600 employees, about 12,000 customers now, about 1,200 partners. Pretty fast growth trajectory. So what we're going to be talking about tonight is how the HubSpot user group came to be here in Boca Raton and some strategies that you can use to put to work right away. The Boca Raton HubSpot user group is composed primarily of marketers and small business owners who are looking to use HubSpot software and content marketing and inbound marketing to grow their business and their organization. We're currently planning a schedule of quarterly. Next meeting will probably be in early March. And we're also looking at how to grow HubSpot user groups throughout South Florida. Kristen Clinton, who's seated in the back there, you want to wave, stand up for a sec? Kristen is planning a HubSpot user group in the western Broward area, somewhere around Plantation, Sunrise, Davie, that area. Antoine Dupont also deserves some recognition for getting HubSpot user groups going in South Florida. What's pretty interesting when you look at the HubSpot customer base in South Florida compared to the rest of the country, when we were doing a little bit of research on this, or late summer, early fall, about 1% of HubSpot's global customer base is actually right here in the 3 counties. So when you look at all the political stats and why CNN pays so much attention to South Florida, and you look at the Recount movie and everything, there's a tremendous concentration of very content marketing, inbound marketing, online marketing savvy small businesses right here in South Florida. And the goal is to help you network, share ideas, and teach you a little bit about content marketing and inbound marketing that you can put to work in your business. Network and with and learn from other marketers in the area and discover new ways to attract, convert, close, and delight your customers for long-term retention so you can grow your business and organization. You can find the Boca Raton HubSpot user group, as you might expect, on social media. We have a LinkedIn group specifically for the Boca Raton HubSpot user group. There's also a broader-based LinkedIn group for the South Florida HubSpot user groups. Again, the vision is to grow 3 different chapters, with this one here anchored in Boca Raton, another one anchored in Broward. We're also actively looking for someone to lead a user group in the Miami area, somewhere probably between Aventura and Coral Gables. You can follow the Boca Hug on Twitter. If you want to tweet about some things that you're learning tonight, feel free to use the Boca Raton Hug hashtag. I noticed a few people already tweeting using that earlier today. Great to see. And we're even on Facebook. There's a Boca Raton HubSpot user group page on Facebook. We're also building out on SlideShare. Tonight's presentation will be posted to SlideShare, and we'll be adding on to a YouTube channel and Google Plus channel. We're trying to cover most of the mainstream social media channels. So definitely, by all means, use our Boca Raton Hug hashtag. Feel free to tweet out photos. Feel free to post photos to the Boca Hug Facebook, and we'll compile a best of into a slideshow from tonight. So I'm Joshua Feinberg. I'm the Boca Raton HubSpot user group leader. I'm also the co-founder and chief inbound marketing officer of SP Home Run. We're based right here out of Caffeine Spaces. We're an inbound marketing agency and HubSpot certified partner that specializes in B2B technology companies. I've been using HubSpot since 2011. Inbound certified, HubSpot certified, and HubSpot certified partner. For anyone that's curious about what it's like to go through that process, I'm happy to share our war stories. Anyone else that's HubSpot, that's gone through some of the HubSpot certifications, if you could just raise your hand so other people can see if they have questions on how to attain that credential. There's a lot of demand for inbound marketing talent, content marketing talent out in the job marketplace, and actually the supply-demand curve is definitely in favor of the candidates and potential employees now as opposed to employers. So if you're looking for something that can really beef up your LinkedIn profile and resume and make yourself more marketable, definitely take a look at some of the HubSpot certification programs. In terms of what I'm looking to get out of attending and this in future meetings, it's all about networking, building relationships, and learning together. Part of what originally attracted me to leading the Boca HubSpot user group is I was involved in helping to run a Microsoft Windows group back in central New Jersey about 15 years ago, and saw a tremendous amount of benefits from learning and building relationships with. And there's a lot that can be gained from learning about how others in our local community are using HubSpot software, using content marketing and inbound marketing to generate leads, close new customers, retain customers, attract the right website traffic. I think we actually have a good size enough group here that I'd like to go around and have each person do a little tweet-length introduction, maybe 30 seconds, a minute or so, just to say who you are so everyone can get a feel of where you're coming from and know if who they want to connect with, especially in the networking portion that we have for tonight. So we'll start here. Just say your name, where you're coming from, your location, where you're located, if you've been using HubSpot since when, or if you're looking at HubSpot and what you're looking to get out of attending tonight and future meetings. So we'll start with Paul here.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Paul Cannon. I'm the CTO of Fisher Technology. We're based out of Boca Raton, although Nicole, my wife and partner in the business, actually work out of the house in Delray Beach, but that's fine. We'll keep that between us. But we've been living in South Florida for coming up to 8 years. We came over from London to establish our business, which was to distribute a business process management automation product from the UK, which is called Tile Center. It's aimed at mid-market businesses who want to add value to their CRM or their ERP systems. We've been using HubSpot probably, 2.5 years? I think it's really only in the last 6 months that we've really gotten to grips with the whole concept of inbound marketing and Nicole can talk more to this in her intro, just how, because she's kind of led the initiative, if you like, in trying to get our whole sort of inbound marketing strategy figured out. I think it's probably a better way of saying it than anything else. But our interest really in coming to this group is just to perhaps get to network with like-minded people, perhaps in the technology business. Obviously, if we can work together, that would be great. Even if we could just get some introductions to some talent that we could use in our business, or perhaps offer some talent to help other businesses. That's probably what we're looking for to get out of the group. So thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Paul. Nicole?
Oh, I get to go next. Okay, I'm VP of Sales and Marketing for Fisher Technology. Paul explained pretty much what the organisation does. I guess really my role with HubSpot, initially we were just looking to get a new website and be able to manage it better. We've done that. We've gone through a couple of iterations. It's still a work in progress. It will always be a work in progress. I'm learning a lot about the best practices and getting more leads from it. We definitely are doing that. And pretty much getting contacts, getting people to perhaps help us improve getting more inbound leads would be great.
Excellent. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lauren McMillan. I work for the Mission Group. We're a healthcare. We're consultants to health insurance companies, primarily in competitive intelligence. We've been using HubSpot since the summer of 2012. And I'm looking forward to meeting other people who are using HubSpot and learning more about how to maximize it.
Excellent. Thank you. Chris?
Hey, I'm Chris Muccio from the Social Fusion Group. I'm Chief Strategist there. Been using HubSpot for about a year now. We are a certified partner with HubSpot. I've been in the digital space probably going on 10 years now. Back in 2008, wrote one of the first books on LinkedIn, which we were lucky enough to become a bestseller. We put an update out for that book back in September, and we're really focused on a lot of content development. What I'm looking for tonight is to network and see some more of the HubSpot community. And we also have a conference. We do a virtual conference. I'd love to chat with people and see if they're a good fit to participate in our conference.
Excellent. Thanks, Chris.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nick Pond, and I work with Antoine and Admin Solutions. Well, we're a small agency that makes websites mostly for small businesses. What I'm trying to get out of tonight is to get the best practices from the people in the industry.
Great. Thanks, Mick. Glad to have you here. Jason?
I am Jason, and I work for a company called Awesome Cloud. We help IT service providers offer cloud services to their companies. Josh probably knows exactly what I'm talking about. But I wanted to sign up here to learn more about the tool, how you guys are using it, if I can help you with anything, things like that.
Great. Warren?
I'm Warren Redlick. I'm a criminal defense lawyer and a web entrepreneur. And I stumbled on this meeting. I'm a member of Caffeine Spaces, which is a co-working space where people like me who work from home have a place to go. I stumbled on this meeting having no idea it was going to be here, looking to kill time while I wait for my daughter to finish her rehearsal for the show she's going to be in. But I saw that you guys were having this meeting. I figured I'd learn more about HubSpot. I do have a number of websites. My biggest website that matters locally is West Boca News, which is the only real news website that covers what happens in West Boca.
Very good. Thanks, Warren. Allie?
Hi, my name is Ali Mayorana. I work for a company called Greens Plus. We're a health food supplement. You can find us in Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, online, Fiber Chow. We've been a HubSpot user since about April, this past April. And I'm here just to learn more about HubSpot and see how others are using it.
Very good. Thanks, Allie. Jenna?
My name is Jenna Flipp. I work at Native Remedies as an SEO and social media analyst. We don't use HubSpot, however, possibly in the future. I'm just here to network and learn more.
Very interesting already to see some common threads in similar kinds of businesses, similar kinds of business models, and you start to realize after a while that that's the whole idea with social proof and industry fits and case studies. There was a very interesting quote that I saw on a HubSpot webinar a couple of years ago, though. Seth Godin, how many of you know who Seth Godin is? Here's a quote that by the time you wait for there to be the perfect case study of the perfect company who does exactly what you do, it's often too late. John?
John Irving. My company is Direct Etc. I do outbound marketing. I do direct mail lists, the whole 9 yards. So if anyone is in need of some help with their outbound marketing efforts to certainly dovetail into their inbound efforts, I'm happy to help. I'm also a membership chair for the Florida Direct Marketing Association, which is where Josh and I met. And I wanted to come here to support one of our members, first of all, and to try to meet some other entrepreneurs in need of some marketing help and do some networking and such. So happy to be here.
Excellent. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Kristen?
I'm Kristen Clinton. I'm the marketing director for a law firm in plantation. We do mostly foreclosure defense. We've been using HubSpot since February, so coming up on a year soon. And I'm also trying to run the West Broward Hub group so I can get some more people together. I'm looking forward to meeting other people who are excited about using HubSpot and inbound marketing.
Great. Excellent. Thanks, Kristen. And in the back there?
My name is Mohammed. I'm the CEO of Silver Logic. We have a couple offices back there. We specialize in corporate identity development, branding, custom web software. We service clients anywhere from mom and pop shops to Fortune 500 companies and everything in between. And I'm here. I was in the room for 10 hours and I heard people, so I think.
People are good. Human contact is good. It's a reason enough alone to be working in a place like African Spaces. And thanks, Mohammed. Yes?
My name is John Bejarano. I'm CEO of First Class Alliance, an interactive branding agency down the hall from here as well. We focus on building brands and building them, whether they're startups or established. Some local clients as well, some law firms too, from website design to also digital strategy and all that kind of stuff. And I also heard some noise out here, so I came out to see what's going on. I'm hoping you guys had some pizza, but when I had it with HubSpot, I decided to stick around for a little bit because I do use it in the past to recommend it to a client who just 30 minutes ago wrote an email about it. So it was a great.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad we made some noise. Maybe we'll make some more noise to draw some more people that are stuck in the back of the offices over there, and pizza is coming. Antoine.
Antoine Dupont. I'm the owner of Admini Solution. We're a web design company in West Palm Beach now. We've been doing this for 12 years. And then we've been hearing people asking us about inbound marketing, and we saw the wave, and it's no longer sufficient to provide a website for our clients. I mean, it needs to have, the call to actions and basically generate leads. Imagine that, right? What I'm looking for, I'm looking for networking. I'm looking for like-minded people. I'm looking up for ideas. I'm looking up for someone to challenge and rattle my brain a little bit with cool stuff, so I'm glad to be in I didn't know where you guys were off, so here we are, right?
That's Scavenger Hunt. Excellent. Excellent. Glad to have you here, Antoine. Jay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jay Epstein. I'm actually here more for what you had first mentioned about the certification tracks. I'm actually a Drupal content management system developer and IA for a company called Track Tech Partners up in Andover, Massachusetts. And they cater mainly to higher education, school districts, cruise industry, pretty big sites that are all, for the most part, using HubSpot already. And they're looking for more guidance, from us as developers on how to juice up what they already have, or for new clientele, how do we begin with HubSpot? So they're just trying to make HubSpot a new offering within their repertoire, and they're asking me to kind of head that up. So I'm here for guidance, help. Point me, push me, that kind of thing.
Excellent. Glad to have you here, Jay. Rick?
I'm Rick Solari. I'm a producer for Solari Productions, my own company. I am a content creator, so I create anything and everything from web content to commercials, what have you. I'm also the South Florida WordPress Users Group co-organizer. So it's about 1,500 members in the group. We have meetups both in Broward and in Miami. What else? Kind of was here at the right time, and kind of was told, hey, stay tonight. It's going to be a HubSpot meeting. I'm like, I've heard of HubSpot. Yeah, I'm kind of used to the task. So I was curious. So I'm here just seeing how it kind of fits with what I'm doing.
That's great, Rick. Glad to have you here. It's interesting, too, as we're going around the room, you're starting to see some common threads. We're seeing law, nutraceuticals, open source CMSs, definitely starting to see some emergence of tech, IT, and you'll definitely see the more you dive into content marketing and inbound marketing, a lot of common threads among certain industries. Not that it's not usable across the board, but there's certain industries where you see hotspots. Matt's definitely another great example of that, Matt.
I'm Matt Brown. I work for a law firm in West Palm Beach. They actually do foreclosure defense, and we also do bankruptcy, deed in lieu, real estate law. There's a whole list of attorneys. Our main thing is foreclosure defense. I've been using HubSpot not even a month actually, so brand new. Sat down with my boss, told him this is what I think we should do for marketing. He wasn't convinced, so I had to print out the case study, printed it out, and it was good. And I'm looking to just network and get ideas off everybody because it's just me and marketing. So.
Excellent. Well, you're definitely in the right place, and there's other people from law firms here that are using content marketing and inbound marketing and curious about content marketing. So definitely network and pick people's brains. I think that brings us to the co-founder and co-working evangelist of Caffeine Spaces, Mark Lehman.
Hello. I'm Mark Lehman. I'm I guess you call it catalyst for the co-working space here. And I also run a group called New Tech Community. It's another meetup group, about 600 active members. It's 4 years old. And anybody has questions about the co-working space here, come to me and I can help introduce you to what we're doing. Think of it as a tech clubhouse.
Awesome. We get everybody? Oh, finally in the back. With last but not least, everyone give a big round of applause to my partner and wife, Jennifer, who helped co-plan tonight's meetup. Jen, you just want to say a few words?
I'm Jennifer Rossler. I'm Josh's partner, wife, and I am also inbound HubSpot certified. Working on my partner certification now, so it's driving me a little crazy, but I'm working through it. And we're just so glad to see such a turnout. It's really great to have everybody.
Yeah, give yourself a big round of applause for braving the 6-day weekend and coming out to learn about HubSpot and content marketing so you can help your businesses. So everyone take out their Android or iPhone right now and put this on their calendar. The next meeting is going to be on Tuesday evening, March 4th. Same time slot, same location. We'll be having a surprise guest speaker from HubSpot. And make sure you watch your inbox and our social media for details and registration in late January. If you're located in Broward County and going to another HubSpot user group meeting in the Weston Davie Sunrise area, would also be convenient. Definitely talk to Kristen tonight and let her know as well so she can exchange business cards with you so she can keep you apprised of her status as well. But we'll certainly be co-promoting their events too. We'll be coordinating our calendar, so if people, instead of wanting to go to 4 events a year, want to go to 8. That'll certainly be an option. When we get the group off the ground in Miami, that'll be another option. And our goal down the road is to be able to have a full-day South Florida User Group Summit within the next 1 to 2 years. So the HubSpot User Group will actually be getting its own HubSpot Enterprise portal in 2014. So there'll be a lot of opportunities for people that want to help us develop content and create content jointly that helps promote the user group and secondarily helps promote your own company and what you're doing with HubSpot. In terms of HubSpot user groups in general, there's over 70 HubSpot user groups worldwide. HubSpot actually now has a full-time HubSpot program manager based out of Cambridge, Massachusetts, Sarah Papacristo. Sarah actually comes from an interesting background. She helped run one of the New Hampshire HubSpot user groups and comes from a HubSpot partner, so she knows what HubSpot user groups take to succeed very well and supports us very well with a lot of webinars and office hours and a lot of kits on how to get a HubSpot user group off the ground. It's been very helpful. My vision is to see a HubSpot user group in each of the 3 South Florida counties. As I mentioned before, there's a very, very significant HubSpot customer base here in South Florida. The largest concentration is in Palm Beach County, Broward, and Dade second and third right after that. But overall, it's a huge, huge concentration relative, about 1% of HubSpot's global customer base. We're looking to meet quarterly where we coordinate the calendars. We're sharing a LinkedIn group. We're looking to be able to do shared webinars. We're looking to have an annual full-day South Florida HubSpot User Group Summit at some point down the road, as I mentioned before. We've all had a chance to meet, and hopefully we'll get to talk one-on-one with Kristen sometime tonight. And if you know anyone that loves HubSpot, loves inbound marketing, loves content marketing, that lives or works somewhere between Aventura and Coral Gables, definitely have them get in touch with me, and we'll try to give them as much support as possible in helping to get their HubSpot user group off the ground down in 305 land. So when we were putting the HubSpot user group together, we really wanted to get a pulse on who was signing up. Again, part of the reason we went around and did introductions is for you to try to get as much value as you can out of attending tonight. But we asked a few questions like, do you currently use HubSpot? What's your biggest marketing challenge? Is your company a HubSpot partner or other kind of marketing agency? Are you on Twitter? And if you're interested in helping to lead the HubSpot user group. So we got some interesting answers. When we asked, do you currently use HubSpot? The overwhelming majority was yes, 29 yeses and 9 nos, so about 3/4 currently utilizing HubSpot in some fashion. Of those that are currently using HubSpot, most are within their first 1 to 2 years. A handful are 3 to 4 years. In terms of what's your biggest marketing challenge, we asked everyone for a free form write-in on this. We took this and put it in a word cloud program. I thought this was relatively common knowledge and most people knew about these tools, but if you ever have a survey with a ton of quantitative information and you can't make heads or tails out of it, just go to Google, type in how to make a word cloud. This one, totally completely free. You put the words in there, and we can see that the number one thing that people are constrained about, time. Anyone relate to that? Number 2 was leads. So this is a good shortcut to be able to graphically present what's going on with your data, and it's totally, completely free. Is your company a HubSpot partner, HubSpot marketing agency? About a third said yes, about 2/3 said no. And within the agencies, we asked you if you're an agency, are you a HubSpot partner agency or other agency? The majority are HubSpot partner agencies, a few that are not. Would you like to help getting involved and lead the group? A few people said yes, and if you did say yes and you wrote that in, definitely make sure that we have a chance to talk this evening. I hope I've had a chance to meet just about everyone that's here tonight. If I haven't, please make it a point to come over and see me so we get to chat for a few moments. Some people, storytelling, they want to help with cooking. I thought that was a great one. Analytical and technical skills and intimate knowledge of HubSpot. So without any further delay, let's jump into the meat of tonight's presentation, the top 14 ways that you can prepare your HubSpot inbound campaigns for 2014. The goal was to get 14 different strategies that help you attract strangers, convert visitors into leads, close leads into customers, and delight customers for long-term retention. That's the 15-second version of what HubSpot calls its inbound methodology. And if you talk to anyone that's worked for HubSpot since very early on, like 2006, 2007, 2008, this used to be a 20-page white paper, and they've now distilled it down to a single slide. If you could see that a little closer, you see under Attract, it includes blogging, keywords, and social media. Under Converting website visitors into leads, you'll find forms, calls to action, and landing pages, closing leads into customers, using email, using a new tool called Signals. If you haven't heard of Signals, just like that You Ought to Know video, write that down. Go check out Signals. It is a game changer in how you convert leads into new customers. And workflows, marketing automation that helps take top-of-the-funnel sales leads and take them through the sales funnel in a much more accelerated fashion. So, for example, a long cycle B2B customer that might have taken 12, 18, 24 months before to close by being smart about developing content for unique buyer personas and developing content that's optimized for each different stage of the sales cycle, you can really see a huge impact in getting people through your sales funnel quicker, closing sales faster, and seeing ROI much more rapidly. In terms of delight, using events, using a tool called Social Inbox that helps you monitor. If you ever notice when you're looking at Twitter, there seems to be a massive amount of data coming right at you. What Social Inbox does is it listens for people that are currently in your database and highlights what they're talking about on Twitter. So if you just want to pay attention to what your customers are talking about on Twitter, Social Inbox can help you do that. If you want to pay attention to leads with a certain lead score that are a certain stage of maturity, you can pay attention to that. Tremendously powerful tool. Smart content is largely about personalization. Obviously, we could talk about this slide for quite a bit of time, but just wanted to give you a quick overview. So I asked the people I reached out to on this, and by the way, this is not a canned presentation. This was all hand-researched. The goal was to get about half of the respondents coming from HubSpotters at the Cambridge, Massachusetts headquarters, and the other half of the respondents, about 7 or 8, coming from HubSpot partners. We asked if you could sum up your advice in one sentence, tweet length, on the single most important inbound strategy that if you were here in this room tonight that you would tell attendees. What would it be? So without any further delay, here is who you're going to hear from. Anyone recognize any of the pictures that are up here? I'm curious. Allie.
The CEO, Dharmesh, and Brian.
Yes, upper left-hand corner, you get 2 points. Brian Halligan and Dharmesh Shah. Anyone else? Excellent. Anyone else? Ringer in the back? Excellent. That's Mark Killen, second in from the right. He runs the HubSpot Academy. For those of you that are currently HubSpot customers, if you are not currently going to all of the classes that Mark currently runs, you are missing out on a tremendously valuable asset to get continuing education right from the convenience of your own webinars. He runs classes probably 2 or 3 weeks out of the month. He just finished up a 3-part series on SEO, and it was amazing. If you missed it, it's all in the archives. Go into your HubSpot software, hit the Academy menu, and look at the webinar archives. That's Mark Killens, and on the right, that's Sarah Pop-Christos. So the first strategy, if Brian Halligan, CEO and founder, was here with us tonight, when I asked Brian what's the biggest thing that people should be concentrating on in 2014, he said your success in inbound marketing is much more about the width of your brain than the size of your wallet, the width of your wallet. Can anyone relate to that? Who's experienced the challenge of competing against a competitor that has much bigger pockets than they do, a much bigger marketing budget than they do? Who's had to scrape and scrimp and put things together to come up and work with a much more clever content marketing strategy to outsmart David Goliath kind of battles? Anyone relate to that? Great. So Brian's number one strategy is to think with your brain. Use your brain to try to outsmart much larger competitors with much larger wallets. And a lot of this comes down to knowing your customers extremely well, segmenting and personalizing. Next up, Dharmesh Shah, co-founder and CTO of HubSpot. By the way, Brian and Dharmesh met as grad students at MIT. If you ever have heard the story about HubSpot, a lot of the initial 5 or 10 employees and a lot of the senior management comes from MIT. Very sharp, bright guys. Dharmesh's advice was get comfortable sharing useful information that is uncomfortably honest that you'd want to read yourself. Dharmesh publishes an incredibly popular blog that actually predates the start of HubSpot called On Startups. If you've never heard it before, look it up. It's a fantastic blog for those that are small business owners or entrepreneurs. It has a LinkedIn group that goes along with it as well. Extremely popular. It's on all the top-ranked small business and entrepreneurial blogging lists. And he shares amazingly intimate, intense details on what goes on about HubSpot with their employees, how they deal with recruiting, how they deal with retention, how they've built a culture. Very highly recommended. And Dharmesh and Shah Dharmesh Shah and Brian Halligan got on the map when they put out a best-selling book a couple years ago called Inbound Marketing. Very highly recommended book that'll give you a crash course in a couple hours on how to implement inbound marketing into your business. Next up, we heard from Mike Volpe, CMO of HubSpot. And when I asked Mike, what should attendees concentrate on in 2014, what's the number one strategy? Blogging. A blog that is non-promotional is the cornerstone of a basic inbound strategy. A blog powers your SEO and powers your social media. Who currently here is blogging? Who currently is blogging at least once a week? Who currently is blogging more than once a week? Who's blogging daily? Give yourself a big round of applause. You know why? Because if you're blogging at least one time, if you're blogging more than once a day, if you're blogging at least twice a day, you have over a 90% chance of acquiring new customers from your blog. 90% chance. Those are pretty good odds. So if you're going to look at a very low-cost strategy to implement into your business, even if you are a one-person company, think about how you can work with guest bloggers. Think about how you can work with freelancers. If you really want to move the needle in a way that costs you next to nothing, in 2014, blog at least twice a day. If you blog twice a day, there's over a 90% chance that after a little bit of time, you will start to acquire customers from your blog. And that's what Mike Volpe had to share with us. Next up, Mark Roberge. That's kind of like Mike... That's Volpe's partner in the other side of the business. Mark heads up marketing, and Mike Volpe heads up marketing, and Mark Roberge heads up sales. And for those of you that come from the sales side of the business or support a sales department, if you want to learn best practices on what has powered HubSpot's really, really rapid growth, read everything and go to every webinar that Mark does. Mark's suggestion, and this is a little different than you would expect to hear from somebody who heads up a large sales organization, is as an executive tackling inbound marketing and the journey, think less about blogging yourself personally and more about hiring a journalist to interview the thought leaders across your company, even if it's a one-person company, and turn those conversations into blog articles. Very few people, including themselves, realize that journalists hold the keys to the future of demand generation. HubSpot actually hired a very prominent journalist as a journalist fellow. I believe his title is Dan Lyons earlier this year. And that's a trend that you're going to be seeing repeated more and more. We saw it a lot in the IT services industry in 2013 and 2012, whereas magazines were shutting down and newspapers were laying off. A lot of senior editors were getting recruited to run corporate newsrooms to build out massive thought leadership blogs among large tech companies. Next up, as I mentioned before, Mark Killens heads up the HubSpot Academy, which is HubSpot's continuing education program. Mark leads and moderates kind of like talk radio style, very, very engaging and entertaining. A series of webinars. He typically puts out probably about 12 or 14 different webinar series over the course of the year, usually 2 or 3 sessions. Most of them are held on Tuesdays from 2 to 3 Eastern Time. They're all recorded. They all give slides, and he brings in the best most prominent thought leaders across a lot of different subject matter areas across HubSpot. There's a new series about to start tomorrow on using inbound storytelling. Highly, highly recommended. If you're currently a HubSpot customer and you do not currently attend these webinars, you're missing out on an enormous, enormous opportunity to move the needle forward. So definitely go back, listen to those archives, get involved, listen, participate in the webinars, tweet during the webinars, tweet with the hashtag during the webinars. I know Kristen and I do that on a pretty regular basis, and you'd be amazed. In addition to just meeting people locally, you'll meet a lot of people across the country and across the world that are going through very similar challenges as you are with their inbound marketing. Mark's advice, the businesses that are the best educators will be the most successful in 2014. Out of those that are here tonight, who considers their business and the role and the responsibility of educating your potential clients and clients? Who kind of takes an educational responsibility and a consultative role? Very good. For those of you that haven't gotten to that place yet, think about all of the questions that your customers ask you and your potential customers ask you. Log them, brainstorm them. Go through your CRM system. Go through your ticketing system. Go through your email inbox. Put together a spreadsheet of all of those questions. It might be 50 questions, 100 questions, 200 questions, whatever it is. And then systematically, one by one, tackle each and every one of those in a separate blog post in 2014. And that alone will be an enormous content magnet to draw highly qualified leads to your website. Next up, Sarah Papachristos. Sarah is the head of the HubSpot User Group program. Sarah, again, comes from running a HubSpot user group up in New Hampshire and the HubSpot partner world. She joined HubSpot in this role earlier this spring. There's 70 HubSpot user groups now, and I'm willing to bet 12 months from now you're going to see a huge, huge increase in that number. They're doing great things. Sarah's strategy, and she's an extension of Mark's team on the HubSpot customer marketing side, is when you're planning your 2014 inbound strategy, always solve for the customer. And you can see hashtag SFTC. What does that mean? Always think about what is best for your customer and work backwards. And if you think about the inbound methodology where we look at attract, convert, close, and delight, Solving for the customer starts at delight and works backwards. What do we need to do to get delighted customers? What do we need to do to convert our leads into customers? What do we need to do to attract the right website visitors? Solve for the customer. Who here feels that they have a pretty good handle on what their customers really need? Who here after tonight is going to go back and make it a priority to survey and talk to some of their customers so they can find out what they really need to do with their content next year to move the needle? Some food for thought.
I would pause you on that. There are customers who don't know what they need. They know what they want, and they don't necessarily they're not necessarily correct when they think what they want is what they need. They may be wrong, and that's a challenge.
Absolutely, and that's an excellent point. Good reason to use a consultative sales process to really understand what their pain points are, what their behaviors are, what their goals are, and guide them through it. And that's a great part with HubSpot is, a lot of times when you're talking to a potential client and you feel like they're not telling you the whole story, or you feel like they're leaving some information out because they feel they're going to lose their leverage. The cool part with HubSpot is once they convert on your website, you know every single blog post they read. You know every time they came back to your website. You know every landing page that they converted on. If you're using the Wistia integration, you know every video that they watched and how much of that video they watched. You know if they hit your pricing page, how many times they hit your pricing page. You know that they hit your pricing page on Thanksgiving, when instead of spending time with their friends and family, that's a pretty intensely motivated prospect. So the lead intelligence that you can get there is tremendously, tremendously valuable. And just like Warren said, it will help you uncover their problems that they may not even be sharing with you because they may not be able to articulate it at that level. They may not be able to synthesize it. But in the case of technology, for example, if they read 37 different blog posts that have to do with firewall security, you can bet that the salesperson that's talking to them is going to steer the conversation to their pain points and their concerns about firewall security. So next up, we're going to switch over from the HubSpotters to the HubSpot partners. This is Julie Vetter, co-founder of Point Moon Marketing in Paris. She also runs the HubSpot Paris user group. I actually came to meet Julie when researching this presentation and introduced her to Antoine. I thought they may have some interesting things to talk about. And what Julie had to say is to integrate inbound marketing from social to sales to customer service using social inbox. Social inbox is that tool I was mentioning before. You can kind of take that giant fire hose of information coming at you from Twitter and be able to really highlight and zero in on the tweets that are coming from customers and from people that are on different segmented lists within HubSpot. So integrate inbound marketing from social to sales to customer service using social inbox, with the trend being that customers and businesses will find more and more seamless to stay engaged as they switch from in-person encounters to sharing on social and by phone. How many of you currently have customers that talk about your businesses on social media? How many of you think that your customers may be talking about your business on social media and you're just not aware that they are? How many people think that there are people talking to your competitors on social media about problems that you could also be solving for them in lieu of your competitors? These are some of the reasons why it pays to pay attention to your brand name, your company leaders' names, your competitors' names, and generic non-branded search terms that have to do with your industry, with your main keywords and the main pain points that people are talking about. Next up, Carol Mahoney, founder of Mahoney Internet Marketing. She also leads the HubSpot user group in Portland, Maine. I actually interviewed Carol for one of our podcasts earlier this fall. Carol had some very simple advice. When buyers find you, follow their process. When a potential customer comes to you and they're telling you what you need to do to convert them from a lead to a customer, don't ignore that advice. If they're giving you precious information like that, follow their advice. Next up, Dan Krause, president of Leading Results in Charlotte, North Carolina. Dan specializes in a similar niche that we do, B2B technology and software companies. And Dan's advice was to look at your content and make sure you have a great recipe for repurposing. It's a huge, huge productivity boost. If you can look at all the existing content that you have and figure out ways to recycle it. It's kind of a green angle to creating content. So if you have a blog, can you turn that blog into a podcast? If you have a webinar, can you get it transcribed and turn that into a series of blog posts? All the different ways that you can transform transform one type of content into another format to save a lot of time. So Dan's advice, look at your content, make sure you have a great recipe for how you repurpose and re-promote your content as many ways as possible. Less content and more formats plus more promotion equals greater productivity. For example, what we'll do is we'll take a blog post, turn it into a presentation deck, put it on SlideShare. We'll narrate that blog post using the blog post as a script side by side with the presentation, and now you have a Camtasia video, and put that on YouTube. So you took one piece of content and very easily put it in 2 additional places. The cool part with that, how many people here do not have tens of thousands of links that point to their website, that just maybe have a few dozen or a few hundred? What's the biggest challenge when you only have a few dozen or a few hundred links? Is that you write on all these keywords and you can have these fantastic blog posts, and unfortunately a lot of them will not make it to page 1 on their own without a lot of social sharing, without some link building, without some authoritative sites linking to you. Developing presentations and putting them on SlideShare, developing videos and putting them on YouTube gives you a second chance to make it to page 1, and that's exactly what Dan is talking about. Very, very powerful advice to concentrate on in 2014. We've done a lot of that at SP Home Run. I'm happy to talk to you more about that if you need some tools and recommendations. Another piece of advice to concentrate on with inbound in 2014, Howard Lothrop of Echo Partners in Germantown, Tennessee had this to say: don't be afraid to combine inbound with outbound follow-up. Using inbound marketing doesn't mean you have to forget everything that you know about traditional, conventional, brick-and-mortar kind of marketing. You can combine inbound marketing with direct mail. You can combine inbound marketing with trade shows. You can combine inbound marketing with targeted phone campaigns. There's a lot of different ways to integrate inbound marketing into other forms of more traditional, more conventional types of marketing. And Howard, by the way, is very active on the HubSpot forums. Another plug I want to give to a great tool and resource if you're currently a HubSpot customer. Go to the Academy menu, click on Forms. It's a great place to share best practices, bounce ideas off of other HubSpot customers. Along the same lines, HubSpot Academy also has a tremendous LinkedIn group that I highly recommend. Has about 4,000 or 5,000 members, and I originally met Howard a couple years ago through the HubSpot customer forums. Robin Anderson, a marketing consultant with the Sarah Resources in San Francisco, suggested that everyone begin with an editorial calendar. How many people here have ever taken a journalism class or worked for a student newspaper or worked for a magazine? How many people have that kind of background? I think we had someone here who before it was a West Boca News. Think like a publisher. Think about putting together an editorial calendar so you plan out all of your story ideas in advance. Focus your content on buyer personas. How many here are currently using buyer personas to make their marketing more specific and resonate more? What buyer personas are fictional representations of your ideal buyers, their pain points, their goals, and their behaviors. It's kind of getting inside what really makes them tick. And by speaking their language and zeroing in on their highest priorities, you really resonate, you really stand out from the crowd, you differentiate from your competitors, and your content is all that more powerful. See what trigger points engage visitors and convert leads. HubSpot has some great tools in there. The page performance tool, the conversion assist report can be very, very powerful in helping you uncover what it's going to take to convert more website visitors into leads and more leads into customers. Stephen Plotkin of Indigo Inbound in Reading, the United Kingdom, suggested that you take your blog, you add a call to action, a CTA, drive from the CTA to a landing page for some kind of premium content offer. Embedded in that landing page, you'll have a form where you're asking at the absolute minimum for first, last, and email address. As inbound marketers, you definitely want to be asking for more, so you have a better idea on who they really are. Just getting a first, last, and a free mail address like a Google or Yahoo or Hotmail is not going to tell you very much. But the basic idea is drive from your blog, put a call to action in those blog posts, drive to a landing page with a form, and then promote the heck out of those landing pages using email marketing, your in-house database, using social media, so that you generate new leads. And Stephen was very emphatic about making sure that I tell you after you're done with that process to rock on and have a great time. Because that's a lot of what inbound marketing is all about. It's not just about having fun. It's about getting great results, generating more highly qualified leads, converting more customers, and generating more ROI for your company, for your organization. Coming down the home stretch here, just across the other side, just a little east over in Ireland, Susan Bork of the Product Launch Method in Sligo, Ireland, suggested taking action daily. How many have a daily workout routine? It's kind of similar with inbound. You want to make inbound a part of your daily routine. Constantly think of methods. Your tweets, your blog posts, your emails to alert people to your business and drive eyeballs to your website. Get the correct mindset to be an inbound marketer. Sue's a Nixon strategy lead of Element 3. They're a big HubSpot partner agency in Indianapolis. I believe they won Partner Agency of the Year a year or two ago. Suggested that you increase the people, look to other people in your company to involve them in your blogging. Increase blogging team participation. So if you're a company of 5, you may be the primary blogger, but there's a good chance that there's other people in your company that can help with the blog in some way, shape, or form. Make it a rewarding experience for your employees, your team, and your organization using gamification. Make it fun, make it competitive, and rewards. Understand that hard work and solid content strategy supports the business goals. How many people currently have more than one person in their company that blogs? Does it make it a little easier? Do whatever you can to try to encourage, even if you're doing 3/4 of the heavy lifting and they're doing 1/4 of it. If most people, if you really sit down and coach them on what it takes to blog, or if you interview them and get that interview transcribed and you turn that Q&A into a blog post, there's a lot of different ways to involve different thought leaders within your company, and it can really move the needle on making your content more interesting, more varied, more engaging, and take a little bit of the workload off yourself. Also, do not be afraid to use freelancers. We could actually have a whole separate section on best practices for using freelance writers. And our final bonus tip, this is actually tip number 15, comes to us from Douglas Burnett, who is the owner of the Artillery LLC agency in the Norfolk, Virginia area. He also leads the Hampton Roads HubSpot user group. And Douglas's suggestion was to be successful in inbound marketing. Remember that all of your prospects listen to the exact same radio station, WIIM. What's in it for me? I want to give special thanks to Mark Lehman and Caffeine Spaces for hosting us for this evening's event. Everyone, please give Mark a round of applause. He's got a tremendous place here. If you're currently working out of your home and feeling like the walls are getting a little too tight and you want to get out among human people and get some great interaction and great networking, especially if you do something tech and creative, definitely talk to Mark. And a special thanks to HubSpot for sponsoring this evening, especially Sarah Papa Christos. Your call to action. How could I possibly end anything having to do with inbound marketing without having a call to action? By the way, if you do webinars, if you do ebooks, if you do any kind of content, always make sure that you have a call to action at the end. Your call to action is to tweet which of these 14 tips that you like the best using the Boca Hug hashtag. As you're going around and networking with other attendees tonight's meeting, make sure that you share your favorite inbound marketing tip with at least 3 people. Here before you leave, how many people here have a favorite tip that they currently use with content marketing or inbound marketing? Pick people's brains. Most people know a lot more than they realize. And make inbound marketing a priority for 2014. For more information, the slide deck from tonight's presentation will be posted up to all Boca Hug social media, especially the Twitter profiles. Make sure that you follow at Boca Hug on Twitter. Make sure you join our LinkedIn group. It's the Boca Raton HubSpot user group on LinkedIn. There's also a South Florida HubSpot user group, and we'll be cross-promoting the other. Yes, that is an airplane. We're right next to the Boca Raton airport. The frequency actually slows down this time of night. During the day, it's more frequent. So there's a South Florida HubSpot user group LinkedIn. There's a South Florida HubSpot user group LinkedIn group. There's also a Boca Raton HubSpot user group, and we'll be, as we grow more HubSpot user groups throughout South Florida. You'll see those there. If you have friends, family members, colleagues, coworkers, and other parts of the country, and they're curious about content and inbound marketing, tell them to look and see if there's a HubSpot user group in their area. Definitely like our Facebook page, and make sure that you registered on Eventbrite so we can email you about our future upcoming meeting notices. If you want to follow me, feel free to follow me on Twitter, Joshua_Feinberg. Also feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. That brings us to the end of tonight's presentation. I want to give you all a big round of applause for coming out to tonight's meeting. I appreciate everyone coming out. I know it's the 6-day weekend, as a lot of people have expected. I know we have a lot of competition from Cyber Monday. I know a few people that are here are even working on campaigns for Cyber Monday, so definitely appreciate you coming out, and look forward to hearing how all of you plan to implement inbound and content marketing more successfully in your businesses in 2014. Thank you.